All right. Yesterday, I was watching my favorite team, of course, Duke, and a lot of people don't like Duke. Of course, they prefer North Carolina. Well, Friday night, I learned at an early age it doesn't matter where you start, but how you finish. And Zion Williams pretty much put the exclamation point, beating North Carolina in the semifinals of the ACC tournament, 74-73. Oh yeah. And then last night, Duke pretty much had no problem with taking care of the Florida State Seminoles, 73-63. Oh yeah, it is good that Zion Williamson came back when he did, because now Duke is a force to be reckoned with and has an opportunity to be a number one seed and possibly be in the best bracket ever. That's right. And other teams that are probably ahead of the number one seed is Gonzaga, and probably I would have to say Tennessee if they win today. And the two seed is of course North Carolina, of course. See, but go back to number one seed, Virginia, Duke, and Gonzaga. Just to name three of them. Now, let's take a trip to memory lane. Of course, the year I was born, 1976, the last team to ever go undefeated in college basketball was the Indiana Hoosiers. Of course, I could tell you from consecutive, from 71 to 2018. Check these out. See, 1971 UCLA, 1972 UCLA, 1973 UCLA, 1974 NC State, 1975 UCLA, 1976 Indiana, 1977 Marquette, 1978 Kentucky, 1979 Michigan State, 1980 the Louisville Cardinals, 1981 Indiana Hoosiers, 1982 North Carolina, 1983 NC State, 1984 Georgetown, 1985 Villanova, 1986 Louisville, 1987 Indiana, 1988 Kansas, 1989 Michigan, 1990 UNLV, 1991 Duke, 1992 Duke, 1993 North Carolina, 1994 Arkansas, 1995 UCLA, 1996 Kentucky, 1997 Arizona, 1998 Kentucky, 1999 UConn, or University of Connecticut, 2000 Michigan State, 2001 Duke, 2002 Maryland, 2003 Syracuse, 2004 UConn, 2005 North Carolina, 2006 Florida, 2007 Florida, 2008 Kansas, 2009 North Carolina, 2010 Duke, 2011 UConn, 2012 Kentucky, 2013 Louisville, but they got it taken away from them, 2014 UConn, 2015 Duke, 2016 Villanova, 2017 North Carolina, and 2018 last year would be Villanova. How you like them apples? Oh yeah. Of course, I would have to say it'd be an argument between the 1983 Cinderella season of NC State, because according to the bracket, NC State had to win the tournament in order to get in the NCAA tournament. So that's one Cinderella. And another Cinderella was back in 1997, because Arizona, they actually placed fifth in the Pac-10, and of course they were fifth seed. But not only did they beat Kansas in the Sweet 16 opener, not only did they beat North Carolina in the Final Four semifinal of the NCAA tournament, but they also defeated another number one seed, Kentucky, and of course in overtime. Now, the two key players for Arizona was Miles Simon and Mike Bibby. Now, Mike Bibby has a father who played for UCLA named Henry Bibby, who is a three-time NCAA champ. So the selection show is today, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of good teams. Who knows? You might wind up like Loyola Chicago, or whatever team it was last year that actually made it to the Final Four. They actually they had a chance to win against Michigan. I mean, they actually stunned everyone. Now, the year I graduated, back in 1995, the surprising team in the NCAA tournament was Oklahoma State, because they actually beat a number one seed Wake Forest in the Sweet 16 opener, and then turned around and beat the UMass Minutemen. And then, of course, Wake Forest, correct me if I'm wrong, they actually had Rodney Rogers and Tim Duncan, and of course, and then UMass for Oklahoma State beating them in the regional finals. Well, of course, UMass had, of course, Marcus Camby. And in the Final Four that was being held in the Seattle Kingdom in Seattle, Washington, it was the UCLA Bruins taking on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and of course the North Carolina Tar Heels taking on the Arkansas Razorbacks, who was the champion year previous. And of course it came down to UCLA and Arkansas. And of course at that year, the UCLA Bruins had the O'Bannon brothers, Charles O'Bannon, Ed O'Bannon. And of course Arkansas had Corliss Williamson and Scotty Thurman. Oh yeah. Now there's a team, and of course in college basketball, they're now known as the UTEP, University of Texas El Paso. But they were actually known as Texas Western when they won the NCAA tournament back in 1966 against the Kentucky Wildcats. And the final score was 72-65. Of course, at the time, the Kentucky coach was Adolph Rupp, who has a total, correct me if I'm wrong, has 876 wins and about at least four NCAA basketball titles. There you go. Yeah. That's where the knowledge comes from. I just watch too much basketball, man. Of course, when I started watching college basketball, I started out as North Carolina Tar Heels, but seeing that my foster sister went to Duke, she actually converted me to being a Duke fan. So, good for her. All right. Thank you. Let's see. How do I stop the thing?